The silent guest. The old house at the edge of Willow Grove had stood abandoned for years, its windows shuttered like empty eyes, its door hanging slightly ajar. Locals whispered tales of curses and restless spirits, but Sarah, a young journalist hungry for a story, was not one to believe in folklore. Determined to uncover the truth, she decided to spend the night there alone. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky with bruised purples and reds. Armed with a flashlight and her notebook, Sarah pushed open the creaking door. Dust hung thick in the air, and the faint scent of mildew greeted her. She set up camp in what had once been the living room, her small lantern casting flickering shadows across the peeling wallpaper. Hours passed uneventfully. She explored the house, finding only decayed furniture and fragments of old newspapers. But as the clock struck midnight, the temperature dropped sharply, and an unnatural stillness settled over the house. Then she heard it, a faint, rhythmic tapping coming from upstairs. Her heart quickened. It was too deliberate to be the wind. Clutching her flashlight, she climbed the narrow staircase, each step groaning under her weight. The sound grew louder, leading her to a locked door at the end of the hall. "Hello," she called, her voice trembling. There was no response, just the persistent tapping. She tried the doorknob, but it wouldn't budge. Frustrated, she leaned against the door, and it suddenly swung open with a force that sent her stumbling inside. The room was empty, save for a rocking chair that swayed back and forth, its movement slowing as she watched. "Who's there?" she demanded, her voice cracking. The door slammed shut behind her. Panic surged through her veins as she spun around, shining her flashlight wildly. The shadows seemed to writhe and twist, forming shapes that melted away as quickly as they appeared. And then she saw it, a figure standing in the corner, barely visible in the dim light. It was tall and gaunt, its face obscured by darkness, but its eyes gleamed like shards of glass. "Leave," it rasped, its voice like the grinding of stones. Sarah's legs refused to move. She opened her mouth to scream, but no sound came out. The figure stepped closer, its movements unnaturally smooth, like a marionette on invisible strings. Desperate, she fumbled for the doorknob, her fingers trembling. It wouldn't turn. The figure was now inches away, its breath cold against her face. And then, just as suddenly as it had appeared, it vanished. The door creaked open, revealing the staircase. Sarah bolted, her flashlight bobbing wildly as she ran. She didn't stop until she was outside, gasping for air under the pale moonlight. The next day, Sarah returned with a police officer. They found the house empty, save for her belongings in the living room. But in the upstairs room, etched into the wall, were the words, "You were warned." Sarah never spoke of that night again, but she never forgot the figure's gleaming eyes or the icy dread that gripped her heart. Some stories, she realized, were never meant to be told.